issue that seems to be more on everybody's mind is what jurisdiction does the city have over the authority? And that's a very broad question, and it breaks down into multiple, really, sub-issues. Starting off, first and foremost, again, it's important to repeat that the housing authority and the city are very distinct and separate entities from each other. And that really is what really leads to the conclusion here about the jurisdiction the city may have over the housing authority. Based on research, there are only 3 sections apparently under the public housing law: Section 30, Section 32, and then Section 34, that gives some authorization to the city to perform certain functions or oversight on the housing authority. And the first one, Section 30, is simply the one that allows the mayor of the city to appoint some members of the housing authority board itself. Next is the public housing Section 32, which again gives the local legislative body, in this case the city council, approval authority over certain salaries paid by the housing authority. Important in this regard is to note and set forth clearly in the legal analysis as well as the findings by many courts over the years, is that this authority to approve salaries does not extend to allow the city to set or fix the salaries of the involved individuals. It's simply a situation where the housing authority would come before the council asking for approval of certain salaries, and we only have the power of saying yes or no. And if we say no, then they go back and perhaps do something else, hopefully. And that's unclear under the law of their obligation or responsibility to do anything further at that point in time. But if we approve them, of course, then they're governing in terms of the salaries. But if we reject them, then we have no power under the law, on the research that's set forth in the memorandum. We have no power as a city to enforce any legal proceeding to force the housing authority to do anything with respect to those salaries. And that includes the lack of legal power by the city to file any action to have those salaries that weren't authorized to be recovered or returned to the housing authority. And the only legal authority in that regard lies within the state of New York, and even that is questionable. But the state of New York, under the Commissioner of Housing and Community Renewal, by statute, by law, is the one that is charged with the power to investigate and go into the allegations of misconduct in office as to various housing authority members. And it's very distinct that the authority rests at the state level and not the city level in that regard. So